Welcome to Subramani. Let me first stun you with the statistics. Not more than 100 companies, I would be surprised if the number has gone to 200 over the years, have created wealth for the shareholder on a long-term basis. That was first. Second, 95% of retail investors in direct equities lose money. 95%. About 99% of the companies which are listed don't earn money for the shareholder on a long-term basis. First I said was creating wealth. This year I am talking about companies are not able to create wealth. About 80% of companies would hardly beat FD returns over a 10-year, 12-year period. Repeat, 80% won't beat FD returns, which means you might be much better off investing in PPF or things like that instead of putting money in equities. And I do not know how many of the companies which are listed today, and if you buy, will give you at least say 15% return over the next say 10-12 years, because markets are high, interest rates are low, therefore more and more money is chasing stocks, so therefore this will happen. Welcome to the world of investing. Apart from these terrible statistics, you have to understand that you would always be exuberant when the markets are up, because you can't see why the market should go down, right? And you will be impatient because you expect to see your money double over next 2 years or 2 months or 2 weeks, depending on your outlook in life. And of course there is great ignorance, which I have heard, and I can tell you zillions of examples. For example, one man who used to say, oh, but that company I cannot lose money because it is paying 35% dividend. I have to worry only about 65%. If a person does not know whether he is getting a dividend on face value or on market value, do you think he deserves to be doing direct equity? Forget doing direct equity. He was doing direct equity for his son-in-law and lost a lot of money, right? Why would you have the overconfidence to take other people's money and manage when you have no clue how the market works? So ignorance is of course another big thing to worry about, and it is not very difficult for investors to make money, simply because technology has today made it very easy to do trading, and everybody becomes an expert and everybody can give you a view, right? So anybody who has a forehead is able to give you a view on the market, or give you a view on a particular share, or even the whole sector. That is happening, and therefore you can create forums, you can create Reddit forums. We saw what happened in the US, where or social media, where people can come and promote and say, oh, this is a great company, it will definitely make money over the next 235 years. If you invest regularly and if you take the dividend, put it back, it will definitely give you fantastic returns. Now the person who is saying it on social media is not necessarily the person who is investing. You have no clue. So let me give you some examples. Vodafone में तो पैसा बनेगा ही. It's very simple. Obviously Reliance is making money, and Bharti Airtel. So Reliance is quoting at 2000 rupees, Bharti Airtel at 530 rupees or 540 rupees. How can you go wrong buying Vodafone at 13 rupees? Good, fantastic logic. So you have Vodafone in your portfolio. Look, the greatest source of energy has to be wind, right? You can say about sun, blah, 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 etc. Therefore, the most important thing, the conclusion is Suzlon has to be a great share. Or Reliance ADAG में बहुत problems था, but remember Reliance Power is not like that. It has got physical assets, it's got blah blah blah, so therefore it must be a great buy at whatever price it is. I have no clue, right? So if this is how stories are sold to you, forget being sold to you. If this is how you are investing, there's a very good chance that you will have Vakrangi, Reliance Power, Vodafone and such shares in your portfolio, hoping that one day they will do well. Please remember, this kind of buying is meant for the Vallabh Bansalis, Rakesh Jhunjhunwalas, Warren Buffetts of the world, who know how to identify why a company is doing badly and whether it is worth buying at this price. Put in say 20-25% of the, buy 20% of the company, or 18-19% or 9%, whatever. Sit on the board or put some of their nominees on the board, change auditors, participate in the management, then realize after 2 years that it does not help, so therefore they quit. They can afford this experiment, you can't. So there is good logic saying if two big providers are quoting at such a price, Vodafone will be a good buy, but then Vodafone can be at 12 rupees or 11 rupees for next 5 years and then go up. Do you have the patience to sit around? If you think you have, then there are a lot of other things to see. But there is another terrible piece of statistics. The number of people owning shares like Vakrangi may have now gone down, but your Vodafone, your even Videocon, your Suzlon, your Reliance Power, Reliance Capital and all is at least 5 to 20 times more than the number of people holding say shares like Colgate or even Hindustan Lever. Does it require too much of brains to know where you would have made more money over the last say 5 years, 6 years? Take a company like Fortis Hospital. Management change has happened, but in 2017 the price was 220. Yesterday the price was 233. Where is the wealth creation? Remember, many people say, oh, PSUs are not good. Let me put it this way. There is an elite Indian company at the top. Then there are PSUs, and then there are most other Indian companies. So don't look at the elite when you are comparing it to the PSU. Compare the elite to elite of the PSU, and then you compare the others. Many PSU shares are good. So in my first layer, when I have got very elite companies, I buy them, and then I also buy PSUs. Maybe I buy a index fund for the top layer. Maybe I buy a PSU ETF, possible to buy something like that, because I don't know which typical companies to pick up. But please accept that you don't know. Don't just accept saying, barabar hai, the Bharti is 540, I might as well buy Vodafone at $7 or $9, whatever is the price today, right? So understand what is happening. You have to be very careful about what you are buying, especially if you are a DIY direct investor in equities. So what really goes wrong is when you think of when you have to know the difference between some stock which is cheap and remains cheap for the rest of its life. Suzlon has not moved up, except some once in a while it will be rigged, because they will have planned to an article saying why it's a great share. So many people who read that article go and buy it, and then it will go up and it will come down, it will go up and come down. It's not meant for you. Don't buy cheap stocks because they look cheap. They are very expensive, right? Why should a very good company like say a Colgate or HUL or Nestle price come down just because you want to buy? It is not going to come down, right? So I'm not even suggesting that you buy Colgate. These are all examples which I'm giving, but most of us know that Colgate makes money and Vodafone is not making money. What is your hurry to buy Vodafone? Maybe Vodafone will be a great buy at 30 rupees after some time, right? So if you don't understand, stay away. Stay away from unsolicited advice. Remember, it is very profitable for me to do YouTube videos, especially if I take money from the sponsors. So I can just say, oh, if you want to open a broking account, go to this company. You want to invest in mutual fund, blah, 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 go to this company and invest, right? Just mentioning, putting down links will make me lakhs per video. Let me not joke. Yes, lakhs per video. I do want to stay away from that because that's not my business model. I'm here more to have fun rather than run a school. But at least I can tell you that when you're buying, at least you should know what that company does. There are people who don't know. There are people who don't know that there are two companies called Bannari Amman. One is Bannari Amman Spinning, one is Bannari Amman Sugar, right? If you don't know your difference between a sugar company and a mill, then be my guest. Please make your mistakes and trade. Maybe you'll even make money in a bull market. I asked you to buy a Bannari Amman sugar. You go and buy Bannari Amman Spinning, and you find that you made money. More power to you, but right. So, but don't get into these. Don't get into companies which you don't understand. And I've seen bankers do this. I've seen one banker lending money to Vodafone because it was spending so much money on advertising. This was long back, of course, but yes, that also happens. So what you should be doing is identify good, strong businesses which are doing well or which are temporarily doing badly. For example, Indigo fell from about 1600 or 1700 to 930 during the pandemic, and now it has recovered. It is about, I think the price is now above the pre-COVID price of Indigo, but I'm not very sure. So buy good quality companies. Don't make too many changes in your portfolio. You don't even want to do this, put money in an index fund. Don't buy too many shares. 15 to 20 is more than enough. Anything more than that, you sell off if you already have. Diversify according to your own risk profile. See how much risk you can take. That is the most important thing. Make sure you have your term insurance, pension plan, etc. in place before you come into this market, especially for older people. So see what all you can do. So companies with a very low return, if the return is less than say 11%, in a country where cost of funds, at least if you go to a bank, would be in excess of 11-12%, it does not matter. Companies with very little free cash flows, companies with a lot of problems, companies with a lot of debt, struggling, companies without much of pricing power in their product, right? These are all things that you have to worry about. And if you don't know how to do all this, you're better off going to an advisor rather than trying to lose your own money. Thank you.